The hospital at the edge of town had always had a reputation, though no one spoke of it openly. Hawthorne Memorial was functional, clean, efficient, yet every local had a story about the silent ward on the third floor. It wasn't just the patients who disappeared from records, or the nurses who refused to walk the East Corridor after nightfall. It was the feeling, the oppressive, tangible pressure that settled over you as soon as you stepped near the ward's doors. Elliot Graves had taken the night shift security job for one reason: money. Rent was overdue, bills were stacking up, and the position paid more than anything else he could find. He had done similar shifts before, in office buildings and warehouses, where his biggest concern was a stuck elevator or a faulty alarm. Hospitals, he thought, would be just another quiet night. The first week passed uneventfully. Elliot patrolled the dimly lit corridors, noted the occasional flickering bulb, and logged routine door checks into his tablet. The third-floor east wing was officially closed, sealed after renovations, yet a gap remained. An old door, warped and barely latched behind the construction barrier. Most nights, he ignored it. But that night, November 18th, something changed. At 2:04 a.m., the radio on his belt crackled violently. Elliot pressed the button. "Security, status check." Static hissed. Then a faint voice answered, fragmented, almost pleading. "Please help me." Elliot froze. That wasn't possible. Only he and the night nurse were on duty, and the nurse's frequency was separate. The voice continued, fading in and out. "I'm in Ward 3. The signal cut off abruptly. He glanced toward the East Corridor barrier. The old door creaked faintly, as if stirred by wind. But the building was sealed tight. No windows, no drafts. His stomach knotted. Something about the voice felt real, immediate, desperate. Against his better judgment, Elliot grabbed his flashlight and radio and approached the East Corridor. Each step made the wooden floorboards moan in protest. The overhead lights flickered rhythmically, casting distorted shadows along the walls. He reached the door. It wasn't latched, not fully. A dark slit showed inside. He hesitated. His hand trembled as he pushed it open. The air inside was cold, too cold for a hospital, almost like stepping into a freezer. Dust motes floated in the beam of his flashlight. Broken furniture was strewn across the floor. Ceiling tiles sagged, and the smell of mold mixed with antiseptic made him gag. An old monitor, cracked and dusty, displayed nothing but a frozen blue screen. The corridor ahead seemed longer than it should be. Rooms on either side had doors hanging off hinges or boarded over windows, peeling paint curling like paper in a storm. Elliot shivered, adjusting his flashlight to illuminate a shadow at the end of the hall. A figure, unnervingly still, head tilted to the side. "Hello?" he called, voice tight. The shadow didn't move. A low whisper slithered from the far end. "Don't come closer." Something shifted in the ceiling. Tiles trembled as if something heavy crawled above him. His instinct screamed to leave, but curiosity rooted him in place. Another whisper. "You shouldn't be here." It was soft, childlike, but carried a weight that made the air vibrate. Elliot swallowed, gripping the flashlight tighter. The first room on the left, 312, was empty, or so it seemed. The floorboards were warped, as if something had passed beneath them recently. Elliot's light caught an overturned gurney. Beneath it, scuff marks and the dust led toward the next room. Room 313. The door was cracked slightly, warmer to the touch than it should have been. Elliot pressed his palm against it. He could feel a faint vibration beneath his fingers, like a heartbeat, but slower, heavier, unnatural. A whisper came again. "Please, hurry." He pulled the door open. The room beyond wasn't a standard hospital suite. The smell of rust and decay hit him instantly. Medical equipment lay scattered, an old examination table, rusted restraints dangling from hooks, shattered glassware. The lamp overhead flickered sporadically, casting the room in harsh, shifting shadows. And then he saw her. A figure, strapped to the examination table. Not moving, but breathing shallowly. A young woman, eyes wide with terror, mouth pressed shut by a thick bandage. Blood had dried along her wrists where the restraints had cut into her skin. Elliot's stomach churned. He rushed forward, fumbling with the restraints. "Don't touch me," she whispered hoarsely. Elliot froze. The voice didn't match hers. It came from everywhere at once, echoing in the walls, vibrating in the air. The shadows shifted. From the corners of the room, dark, humanoid figures emerged. Tall, featureless, limbs bent at impossible angles. They didn't walk, they glided, tilting, unnaturally, following his movements. Elliot's flashlight flickered, then died. Pitch black swallowed him. His heart hammered in his chest. The figures moved closer, their presence a tangible pressure, a suffocating weight that pressed against his chest and throat. He fumbled for his radio. Static hissed from it before the childlike whisper returned. "You let us see you." The flashlight clicked on, illuminating the room. One of the figures hovered inches from his face. Its head was tilted impossibly, skin featureless, smooth, pale. Its breath, or the absence of it, was icy against his skin. Elliot stumbled back, tripping over debris. Behind him, the young woman was gone. The table, now empty. And then the walls themselves seemed to pulse, like the building was breathing. Holes in the plaster stretched and contracted, revealing fleeting glimpses of faces screaming silently, hands pressing through from within. Elliot scrambled to the door. He yanked it open and ran down the corridor, the walls groaning, the ceiling tiles rattling above him. Shadows followed, growing taller, stretching further, their whispers overlapping in an impossible cacophony. Halfway down the hall, Elliot collided with another figure, a security guard he recognized from the day shift. "Elliot, what?" The figure stopped mid-sentence, eyes wide open with terror, staring past him. Elliot followed the gaze and froze. The east corridor behind them was gone. In its place, the wall was solid, pristine, no doors, no evidence it had ever existed. The whispers continued, faint, impossible, curling around their ears. "Room 313. Elliot's knees buckled. The other guard grabbed his arm. "We're leaving. Now." They ran, down stairwells, past empty nurse stations, past corridors that seemed to twist unnaturally. Every reflective surface showed them, but not as they were. Their reflections were stretched, distorted, faces elongated, bodies impossibly thin. They screamed at each other silently through the mirrors. By the time they reached the main exit, the hospital was silent again. Lights normal, air warm. The east corridor gone, sealed as though it had never existed. Elliot never returned to that hospital. The whispers followed him, quiet at first, then louder. Every metallic sound, a tap of a spoon, a scratch of a pen, became a voice. Every shadow flicker in his apartment reminded him of the figures. Weeks later, he checked the news. A new security guard had gone missing at Hawthorne Memorial. The official report stated that he had likely walked into a restricted area and gotten lost. No further details. Elliot knew the truth. The silent ward was still there. It waited, breathing, pulsing, hungry. And it always found a way to call you back. He heard it again that night, faintly through his dreams. Room 313. The walls in his apartment seemed to ripple, the shadows lengthened, and in the corner of his eye, a tall, featureless figure waited patiently, head tilted, waiting for him to look directly at it. Elliot didn't sleep again, because he knew one day he wouldn't wake up. And when that happened, the ward would have another voice, another soul to whisper into the dark. The building never forgot, and it never forgave. The end.